Hey everyone, today we are going to be playing Kassadin in the mid lane. For those who are wondering, Kassadin and the latest patch 3.3 has just been recently released in the Chinese PBE server. So what I'm doing now is testing all the changes, as well as checking out Kassadin's skill set and how it differs from the League PC version. So for apologies in advance if I'm not able to use this champion efficiently, because as you could see, my ping is quite high. I'm playing at 400 ping, so I would have probably a 0.5 second delay on my skills, so I would not be able to chain them properly. But nevertheless, I would still want to show you guys on how Kassadin is played. So here we have a mirror matchup. My opponent is Kassadin as well. I think he wants to test the champion, and I'm currently using the Harbinger skin while he is just using the classic skins. So going to the skill set, Kassadin's passive is a spell shield whenever he casts a spell. So whether I use my first, second, third skill or my ultimate, I would get a spell shield. So that's different from the League PC version, because in the League PC version, you would only get a spell shield if you use your first skill. But in the wildrift version, any skill would proc your spell shield. So I really goes for a gank in the mid side, so I play a bit safe because I would want to farm as much as possible. So the next skill here is Kassadin's first skill. So Kassadin's first skill is a target skill shot where you would be able to silence your opponent as well as damage them. So this is different from the League PC version, wherein in the League PC version, your first skill is point and click. But in here, it's a skill shot. As you could see, there's a line whenever I use my first skill, and that is the reason why I choose to level my first skill last, because it makes your damage. It's a lot harder if your first skill is a skill shot for last hitting or trying to get favorable trades. So the next is Kassadin's second skill. So Kassadin's second skill, the League and PC version are very similar. Echo does a great gank, forces the flash. At least my jungler was able to gank as well and put some pressure onto the opposing Kassadin. So what's good about Kassadin's second skill here is that the range of his attack is quite big. It's gonna be as long as Greaves auto attack. So that's how long his second skill is if you're able to activate it. So that's the reason why I'm maxing second skill rather than my first skill, because it's more reliant and it has extra range. It also gives mana back as well. So the next is Kassadin's third skill. It has an AoE damage as well as a slow in a target area. The difference between the League PC version and the Wild Rift version is that, as you could see in the Wild Rift version, Kassadin's third skill can be used even without full stacks, because in the League PC version, you need to have 6 stacks in order to be able to use your third skill. In the Wild Rift version, you don't need 6 stacks. As you could see, I only have 4 stacks, but I am able to use my third skill. But the difference is that Kassadin's third skill will be a lot weaker if it's not fully stacked. So if it's when I'm 6 stacks, the icon changes color and I would have a lot more damage. So you'd always want to stack your third skill to maximum stacks before using it. So last is Kassadin's ulti. I think this is the same from the League and the Wild Rift version. Ash does a great arrow in the mid. I'm not able to burst the Kassadin because I don't have much damage, as well as Irelia was there for the counter gank. So what I do instead is I want to go home, but I was waiting for my Roa before going back. So now I'm trying to trying to CS. I tried to go for an all-in, but their Kassadin's ultimate was faster. I make a small mistake and get taken down. So unfortunate, but it's okay, because since we're playing Kassadin, early game doesn't matter that much. So what we want to do is to be able to get our items and scale properly into the late game, especially we're doing a Rod of Ages build. So now that I see I fight bottom side, I go for bot and try to look for some kills. Pike is a bit overextended. We go for the punish. He's able to flash away, but our Echo chases them down. I go chase down the Graves with my Electrocute, and look at how long my second skill is. So enough time to put the Graves low. Unfortunately, their Graves has a barrier, and Kassadin slowed me at the perfect time. We get another death. But it's okay. Their Kassadin is going for a more early game build with the Seraph's first item, but I'm going for a double scaling with the Roa Seraph. So Seraph's Embrace is probably the most important item for Kassadin because Kassadin is very mana hungry, especially when you have a lot of stacks on your ultimate. So if you have 3 stacks on your ultimate, the cooldown of your ulti could go as much as 400 mana per cast. And Seraph's Embrace has or Archangel has a passive that reduces the cost of your ultimate. So here, their Kassadin overextends, tries to help the Irelia. We go for the catch. I wait for my ulti. I have 3 stacks on my ulti. Huge damage, and look at that. I have 1/4 mana, but my third skill was I wouldn't be able to use my ultimate rather. So that's how strong, that's how high Kassadin's mana is. And as you can see, the plating, there's now 5 platings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, the tower now has 5 platings from the 3 platings as you could see before. So all of these platings are now 5. But the downside is that the platings will be removed after 6 minutes 30 seconds. So after 6 minutes 30 seconds, the platings will be all gone and it will only count as a single plate, which is unlike the patch that we have now. It's 3 plates for the whole game. So so it's very important to get plates early in order to be able to get some gold. So we go for another gank top. I use my flash, not even needed. I just get an assist. So I would be able to get my items and scale a lot faster. So now that I have my tier, this is a bit of a greedy build, but this is overall a stronger build when I get to the late game, wherein I will mostly shine. So Kassadin's power spike is level 9 and level 13 when we get more points on our ulti, because not only does it increase our damage, it also decreases the cooldown, making it a lot more spammable. So one thing about Kassadin's ultimate is that it's not that far. The dash is not that far. It's only a bit longer than the flash, but he is very chaseable, especially when he doesn't have your especially when you don't have your level 3 ultimate yet. So Ashe does another great arrow into the mid, but I see that the Pyke is at the side, so I had to go back. I tried to help the Pantheon instead, so nothing happens. Tryndamere goes for the engage on the Graves bot, so I go and try to help my team. I poke the Kassadin a bit. Our Tryndamere is not able to use our ultimate. As you can see, it's still on cooldown. My teammate is able to respond. Go for the chase. Unfortunately, Pyke gets a great hook onto me and I get the tower aggro. So we get punished for being too greedy, and our opponents are able to get a comeback, which is not good. So one thing to note is that if you check on the minimap, the HPs of the champions can now be seen through the minimap rather than checking it in the upper left corner. So as you can see, the Graves now has 1/4 HP decrease. So this would help increase map presence and knowing what's happening around the map. And then another thing is that there's now scrying in the base. So I would be able to see the Irelia going for the red invade. So immediately go for the punish. I wait for my first skill, for my ulti rather. Irelia is able to flash out, but Tryndamere goes with the catch. Echo, a great stun. Their Pyke decides to AFK because he had no way going out. So another good fight for us and gives us more time to be able to scale properly when we get into the late game. So I don't have my items yet. My damage is not yet strong. I mostly have to rely on my electrocute and my teammates dishing most of the damage because I am not yet at the strongest power spike. So as you could see, if you look at the mid lane tower, there's nowhere platings. It's now gone. So it's best. Herald is now best used before the 630 mark when they have plating, so you'd be able to get as much gold as possible. So Echo does a great escape. Not only do we get the tower, unfortunately, as you could see, Vayne is able to chase the Echo. Ashe does another great arrow. We go and chase the Vayne. So Kassadin has a strong chase potential when spamming your ultimate. I used my flash to secure the kill. Their Kassadin tries to go on the catch, but our Pantheon catches him instead. And look at how strong their Kassadin's burst is. So Even though Kassadin is not at level 13, Kassadin has damage in his kit when dealing with single targets. So now that I have my Rod of Ages, as well as my Archangel Staff, this is when I would be able to scale even more, even faster. And I go for the Ionian Boots here because I would want to decrease the cooldown of my skills. But Tabi or Mercs is also a good alternative. So another fight top. I go and help the Echo. We're able to burst down the Irelia and try to prolong the game. We still have a healthy lead. So what I want to do right now is number 1, to farm for levels, to farm for items, as well as to farm my tier stack. So 1v1 at the mid lane. Pantheon does a great stun. Their Kassadin flashes. Ash with another great arrow. We take down their Kassadin. Vayne goes for the chase. We go and try to burst the Vayne down. So look at my damage. Did you see my damage with my ultimate with max stacks? I'm almost able to I'm able to half Vayne's HP in one combo without electrocute. So that will only get worse. That will only get better for us once we're able to get level 13. So another fight at the bot side. Trinabeers try to chase down the Graves. We get the last hit, but it's okay because we have strong scaling in our kit. So it's okay that if we get the last hits because we would want to get our Spike as soon as possible. So Pyke tries to go for a team fight. Their Kassadin with the response. I'm able to flash, to blink out. The Ashe and the Kassadin goes for a 1v1. Unfortunately, our Ashe loses. I'll try to look for the tower last hit, but I decide to just go home instead. Now I'm 1 level off, and this would be Kassadin's Spike. When you get 3 items, when you complete your Roa, Archangels, as well as your Rabadon, and get your level 13, that's when we would go crazy. But before that, we need to farm a bit. Another clash in the mid lane. I go and try and burst their Kassadin. We immediately delete them. Go for the flash ulti onto Vayne. So now we're not even level 13. Once I complete my Roa Archangels, look at my damage. I deal a lot of damage. And we get another kill, which is good for us. So another alternative build that I could think of is going for Luden's Echo instead of Rod of Ages if you would want a bit of a stronger early game as well as a bit of a better burst. But the problem is that you're very squishy. As you could see, I had my Rod of Ages, but even though with my Rod of Ages, I was almost bursted down by the opponents. That's why I go for the Rod of Ages because it's a lot safer and a lot better once I'm able to scale properly. So now I have my Rod of Ages. I have my Rabadon, and what I want to do is try to get my level 13. My team greeds a bit on the bot side. I try to look if I could get any kills. I see that their Kassadin is low. Most probably I wouldn't be able to reach because they have their Blink. Vayne overextends, and look at my damage. We half Vayne's HP once we're able to get our power spike. Now I'm at level 13. Look how fast the cooldown of my ultimate. Very similar to the League PC version, where it's not even 1 second on the cast of my ult. So the only problem that I would have would be my mana, but with the Roa plus Seraphs, and I even have blue buff, mana would not be a problem. And look at the damage. 1 burst, Irel's HP, almost gone. And with unlimited ultimates, almost unlimited ultimates, I would be able to one-shot the opponent. So Pyke, I go for another burst. Second ulti, second, third, first. We almost one-shot the Pyke. If I had electrocute there, I would have been able to one-shot the Pyke. So Ashe was able to clean up with the arrow, and this is where our power spike, this is where we shine the most. I would have greeded that, but I played a bit safe because I don't want to let them get the shutdown. So this is when Kassadin will be most fun to play once you reach this item and level threshold. So I get I get stasis just to play a bit safe. Now I'm checking whether to I go for the void staff or the reflector. I decide to go for the reflector instead because I could easily get stacks when I spam my ultimate, as well as I don't need much damage because my damage is already really high. So here the opponent goes for a chase. I tried to look for the Vayne. I missed my ultimate, but one Vayne is one shot, even though I didn't hit my ulti. If I hit my ulti, he would have died in one shot. I agreed a bit. Pyke was able to get an execute on me. I did a bit of a limit testing. So even though our damage is really strong, Kassadin's weakness stays the same, wherein if you get crowd controlled, then you would be able to get, you would be bursted down easily. So that's why I'm going for a Reflector third item rather than the Void Staff. So I would probably go for the Void Staff if they have a lot of MR, which they don't have right now. So Echo Tryndamere goes for the cleanup. They get some kills, so very good. We denied the Baron. We denied the opponents from getting Baron, and Dragon is... one thing to note is that Dragon also has a different version here, wherein it's a stackable buff, rather a stackable permanent buff, rather than one Dragon per element. So the more dragons you have, the higher the bonuses that it gives. So it's a bit of a dragon buff. And now Elder spawns. Elder is now different here. I'm not sure if we would be able to reach it, but hopefully we do. So one thing that Kassadin needs, especially when you're level 13, is getting that blue buff, because it increases your mana regen, which is very important when it comes to the team fights. You would always want to have mana, and even though you have blue buff, with how mana hungry Kassadin is, sometimes you would run out of mana. So two of my teammates are down. They will most probably go for the Baron because Ashe is at the top side. Only me and Tryndamere is here at the bot side. Tryndamere goes for the engage. He has this ultimate. I go for a bit of a poke. I try to go for the Vayne. Look at the damage. Oh, look at the damage. One hit on cast on my ultimate, half Vayne's HP. I didn't even use my first third skill. I even missed it. I think I hit someone else. And then we go for the Pyke. A bit greedy. We punish him as well. So I go back home. Get more items. Then most probably it's our turn to go for the Baron because it's a 3v5 in favor of us. So I have my blue buff. I have a lot of mana in my kit, so I could just spam my ultimate and try to go help my team. So at this point, Kassadin is very strong. The only thing that I have to worry about is the opposing Kassadin because he is also level 13. But the difference is that their Kassadin has no Roa. So Irelia, go for the ultimate chasing machine. Most likely no one would be able to escape. We take the dragon, we get a kill. We didn't go for the Baron, but with their jungler down, we most probably would go for this objective. So Echo goes for the Baron. We immediately go for the start. Kassadin, not the fastest Baron taker. A bit of a misplay that I used my ultimate stacks on the Baron. Now I'm starting the clash with half mana. Their Kassadin was able to secure the Baron. We take down their Kassadin, so we would be able to have free damage. I need to use my Zhonya. I have really no mana. We take down the Graves. I have my second skill to try to get back my mana, but I was out of range. Luckily, my teammates were able to clean up, and this is where I need a blue buff. I pinged the Pantheon to try and help me so that I would get my mana back. So with the ace, there's only one member left. We could most probably end the game with the Tryndamere having full HP. The Irelia decides to AFK at the tower, and here we end the game. So Kassadin, very similar to the League PC version, wherein when you get level 13, it's almost auto-win with a spammable ultimate which has really high damage. So I think the laning phase will be a bit harder because the first skill is not targetable. You would have a really hard time to farm, but you just need to scale. I get MVP, 34k damage, and now it shows how many percentage that you do. So very neat trick, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our Kassadin gameplay, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Ciao, ciao. Bye. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.